Good morning. My presentation today is going to be on regulatory basis. There's a lot of information that has been discussed, but I will show you the point of view for the regulation and controlling the biosimilar. My presentation, I will speak about JFDA scope of activities, then regulatory framework for the biosimilar, and the policy consideration. Then I will introduce the guidance and experience with biosimilar. Just to explain the Drug Directorate role, we are the only official body responsible for medicinal product, starting from active pharmaceutical API until it is ready to be used by the patient. So we do the registration, the pricing, licensing of pharmaceutical manufacturers, the importer, wholesaler, promotion, the rational drug use, clinical trial authorization, and we do the post-marketing surveillance through pharmacovigilance and sampling analysis and inspection. Regarding regulatory framework for biosimilar, why the biological is very important? Because they are high complex molecules, their process are complex and critical. Matching batch to batch consistency is a challenge. Even transportation, storage condition may be potential, result in an altered safety and efficacy profile of the final product in some cases. Regarding our policy in JFDA for the biosimilar, while the launching of biosimilar product will provide patients with potential access to affordable medicines, also burden to ensure that the quality, safety, efficacy of such a product, they are not compromised. So there should be a control measures in a place to ensure the quality of the manufacturing process and to save the product, to save the, and it is product and to safeguard patient against possible adverse events. So far, the EU, they have the most well-developed regulatory framework for the biosimilar, which is supported by specific guidelines for specific biosimilars. So the JFDA guidelines issued in 2015, which is adopted from the EMEA guidelines with some considerations to our local requirements. All the relevant guidelines, they have been adopted also. Why we should have our own regulation, even if it's adopted from the EMEA, this will provide assistance to industry in how to comply with the regulations and also setting the rules for authority evaluation. What activities has been done so far? We conducted a lot of conferences, workshops in different countries through which we exchange information and develop our knowledge. We participated in the WHO assessment workshop also. In 2013, we drafted the guidance for the biosimilar, and it is published on the website. And then we received comments from different agencies like the EPG and EGA. What will be different from the EU regulations, and each country should specify, is the reference biological product. So we define the reference biological product. That's the product which is registered internationally, contains a new biological active ingredient and has proven quality, efficacy, safety through clinical, preclinical study. And we focus on the reference product that should be approved in the EMEA, USA, Japan, Canada, TGA, in avoiding other biologicals where they not meet the criteria of having efficacy, safety, and proven quality. The biosimilar definition is the same as in the EMEA, in which it should be the same drug substance, the same dosage form, and the same strength and the route of administration. The scope of the biosimilar for the well-characterized protein derived through modern biotechnology methods such as recombinant DNA into microbial or eukaryotic cell culture. The concept of the biosimilar cannot be for the high complex molecule such as blood derivative product, vaccine, immunoglobulins, allergens, and tissue. They are not in the scope of the biosimilar. All biological products at the JFDA and the biosimilar should be treated as a new drug, and they should take an NDA number. We have two committees, Vaccine and Sera Committee and the New Drug Registration Committee, in which they undertake the assessment of the biosimilar. In these committees, we have expert, outside expert, academic expert, that they help us in the assessment for such products. Regarding the file, they should submit all the 5 modules, as you know, but with focus on module 3, 4, and 5, it should be comparable in nature. The comparability regarding the quality should demonstrate data between the product, biosimilar product, and the reference product with extensive side-by-side characterization through the physicochemical properties, the activity, the specification, purity, even the stability. And analytical technique should be the state-of-art technique in order to detect any differences in quality attributes. The acceptance criteria is setting up. The specification should be established and justified based on result of number of representative lot analysis. And also here a challenge, how many batches that should be required in order to demonstrate the similarity? Still 3 batches as the ordinary chemical product, or we need more? Representative batches should be from the batches they are intended for the commercial use. We, as authority, we're not expecting to be identical, as we said. There may be minor structure differences, such as variability in post-translation modification may be acceptable, but all these should be justified in relation to safety and efficacy. The manufacturing site for the biosimilar is not like the general product. It should be approved by conducting an inspection, starting from the drug substance until the finished product according to the drug manufacturing criteria, and to confirm the GMP compliance. Biosimilar should undergo appropriate non-clinical testing sufficient to justify the conduct of clinical study, and should be comparative in nature to detect any differences between biosimilar and the reference product, in which they should conduct in vitro and in vivo study. The clinical requirement, as mentioned earlier, the comparative pharmacokinetic, pharmacodynamic, and the clinical efficacy study. Clinical safety and pharmacovigilance, comparative clinical studies, robust post-marketing pharmacovigilance with risk management plan, the immunogenicity, they are essential to guarantee the product safety and efficacy over the time. So the pharmacovigilance and risk management plan, they are key pillars in any adequate biosimilar concept, and it shows the commitment of the manufacturer to safety of the patients. And there should be, in the guidance, we have some measures for traceability in order to know the side effects and to trace the biosimilar regarding the labeling, the trade name, the batch number, the package insert. Extrapolation is another challenge for the authority also. It's not easy to determine the extrapolation. And in certain cases, it may be possible to extrapolate shown in one indication to another indication of the reference product, but it is not automatically. They should be justified. In regarding this, for the regulatory authority, we look for the EMEA assessment. It is available on public available, but we face this problem when we have a product that's not approved in the EMEA or in the US. Also, it's a big challenge for the authority to determine the extrapolation, is it approved or not. Regarding the interchangeability and substitution, they should be taken following an opinion of a qualified health professional. Regarding the substitution is not allowed for the biological, automatic substitution is not allowed for biological, even the biosimilar. Experience with biosimilar in Jordan. We started assessment of the biosimilars since 2009. Yes. The first one was the enoxaparin sodium. It has not been approved because they did not submit any comparative data. And then we have another case, the erythropoietin has been rejected, and the human insulin. Human insulin at that time, the EMEA, they did not have guidance for the mix, for the long-acting and isophane intermediate, but we rely on the short human insulin to assess the other application, but they did not have submitted any comparability study. The filgrastim also has been rejected. The streptokinase, what has been approved, the apotin alpha, somatotropin, the filgrastim, and the authority should specify what indication they have been approved. So we have the list for all the biosimilar approved in Jordan. And it has been updated automatically after any biosimilar have been approved. It is added to this list. So the last one is the infliximab in 2014. And now we have some applications, they have been submitted, and they are still under process for assessment. What we need, as I said before, we need more capacity building in review and assessment of the biosimilar, especially within this region. Also, the regulatory authority must work with the stakeholders, physicians, pharmacists, hospitals in capturing events, and particular attention should be paid to the therapeutic outcomes. So these are the challenges and what we need